Just the facts, ma'am.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting. Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
The sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Got it kind of turned down in there, so message me mostly in the text thing, and we'll get started soon. Look, the chat's already waking up, and there we go, and I'm gonna break this out. It's going to be a good time. Let's see, pop out chat. Very helpful.
Just the
chat
facts,
with
ma'am.
you and somehow death loses its sting.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's a dick for.
What's a dick for?
To pee with.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Man, I'm tired of being right.
I never thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
Moon River.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
The sport.
Just looking around here, I can tell you're a genuinely dirty person.
Too much?
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
We're almost there. A couple minutes. We shall be live. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Be up in a sec. Aw. It's okay if Joe Carter's late. It happens. By the way, extra love to Carl today. In general, I don't know if he'll be with us or not. Oh, there he is. Hey, Carl. Thanks for being here, man. Big hug. I'm going to read the Discord chat. I'm going to. We're almost up. All right, I'm almost ready. We're almost there.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
I never thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
I'm a lad farmer. Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Yes, I'm arranging my mullet right now. It needs a little extra lift. I've just got a team of people. Who doesn't have a stunt mullet team, honestly. All right, here we go. This is how I think it goes. Hi, everybody. How are you and welcome. Good to see you. It's nice to see you this afternoon. There's lots of craziness going on, not the least of which is the insanity that is them trying to dig themselves out from under the Russia investigation and the Ukrainian impeachment as we go into the, I guess, the arc upward of this pandemic, because the data, if anyone with any sense looks at it, says that if you remove New York and its downward slope in this process, if you remove that, thanks, John, from this from the equation, the rest of the country is going up tremendously, to use a term that Trump enjoys quite thoroughly. Awesome. So we're gonna go through. This is him meeting with Abbott. Hey, yeah, Abbott, and then the his public schedule today, which was gorgeous, said the president and the first lady deliver remarks at the White House National Day of Prayer service. And the president said in his tweet early that he declared today the National Day of Prayer. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if you don't go to church regularly, you kind of have no business declaring that people pray, kind of in general. But also, you can sign a declaration that today should be a National Day of Prayer. But you're not, thank you, Amber, you're not declaring today a National Day of Prayer, especially when you don't pray. And every time everybody's asked you if you've ever asked God for forgiveness, your answer is, well, I think really most of what I did wrong is somebody else's fault. And I'm only slightly kidding about his answer. I don't feel like digging up that old quote, but I'm sure Factbase has it. But man, oh, the mic has static. I'm probably hot. It's probably because I'm overheating. I don't know that it's static. It just might be overdone. Sonically, yeah, it's a little hot. See if that brings it down a touch. Maybe so. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Is this a little bit better sonically? Tech people, anybody? Let me know. Let me hear what you think. I'm going into two sources at the same time, and that might be part of the mistake in the fact that I'm. Huh? It sounds okay. Okay, good. Oh, it got worse.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, it's.
Sounds fine.
How did it? Yeah, but it got worse in the YouTubes. Yeah, that's not good. There's like, yeah, it's kind of robot-y. I agree. There's something odd going on. If not, I mean, it wouldn't be my show if it wasn't. Sounds better. Sounds way better. Warbly, robot-y for a second. That might be somebody else's internet. Okay, I'm gonna sweat it back to where we were. Noel, you just got here in time. We're just starting. You haven't missed a thing. Got worse, then now better, then off again, then on, still distorting again. Brought it up, goes in and out. That I was moving it. Thank you, John. Quick to your mom's minivan. Thank you, Sultan. So, hopefully, and I think, let me see. It might be. Let me just play a little bit with the idea that, I mean, all of us are going to enjoy a good portion of what they have for us. There you go. I think this should do it. Hearing a lot of audio pops. Okay, I was hearing audio pops earlier on other people's stuff when I was having my family Zoom. So I don't know if it's an internet thing here in Vegas or what, but hopefully we will. I'm messing around with it. We'll smooth it out. We will. I have faith in that. Sounds good now?
Sounds fine.
Everybody sounds good? Excellent. Sweet. Yeah, I just brought down doing a little bit of massaging. Nothing wrong with that. We can get,
But yet,
what
Trump's speech was painful.
who says we have to just barrel right into this nonsense? Honestly, can't we just settle and hang out and be friends? I mean, here we are. We're all trapped. We're all trapped because of him. So why not? All right. Although people are blaming Fauci. Did you hear today that the Jacob Wall and the other Project Veritas related criminals paid a woman to say that she had been sexually assaulted by Anthony Fauci? They got busted today on a phone call with, she called them and taped the call and gave it to Reason.com, and they posted it. Amazingly weak. Secondly, these fools just never learn. But half the times, I think this is so ham-handed that it almost feels like less an attack on Fauci and more an attack on Me Too, because ultimately they have nothing to lose. They benefit from this no matter how it goes down. If people go for it, it damages Fauci. If they don't go for it, it damages Me Too, because here's a woman faking a report. Does that make sense? So that's why they've done this multiple times. They even did it with Elizabeth Warren. Remember the Marine that she supposedly, sexually harassed? So, don't ever mention. Hold on.
Once it was reluctantly aroused, it was.
Anyways, we have an interesting show for you today. So the president met with the governor of Texas today, and they had a little sit down in front of one of their little placards, which is we're showing how many PPE things have been provided to Texas. Now, I'm curious as to whether, and I don't know that we'll ever get an answer to this, it says coordinated public-private partnership on the bottom of that thing, which to me says the state bought their own stuff. The government didn't interfere. That counts. So the surgical gowns, the 14,000 surgical gowns, or 14 million that they supposedly got, that Texas supposedly got, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Texas bought a good portion of those themselves, and as they do regularly. So they're adding, this isn't the number brought in because of COVID-19. This is the number in total, which is all the normal stuff that the hospitals buy for themselves, plus what Texas bought. Maybe the federal government added to that. But this public-private partnership idea allows them to, pardon the pun, mask the reality of what they're sending out, so that nobody knows if this eye and face shields thing that they're saying, whether that actually came through the government at all. They just didn't interview. Yes, welcome, Jill. Thanks for making it. Or if, let's say, over the course of a year, Texas gets 400,000 eye and face shields. They already have those online and are in the process of purchasing them in January when all this stuff starts happening, and they're just tacking on top of this number. And there is no IG to prove otherwise. So I call BS is what I'm saying. I think this is a pile of crap. But let's get into it. By the way, they opened this up, and I don't know why, but even the White House is cutting off the top of these videos, the entrance. But during the prayer breakfast, the prayer National Day of Prayer thing, where they parade out a bunch of I think they're all entirely Christian, but for one maybe, and even then I'd have to check. This is not a secular multi-religious gathering. This is straight up pandering to evangelicals, right? So, let's get into this part first. This is a good time. He's talking about, by the way, one of the president's valets who brings him his food. And why a valet brings you food, which is weird. I know the White House has wait staff and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they call them butlers because they buttle. But he's talking about the guy who brings him food who just tested positive for COVID-19. This dude, it was in close proximity to Trump and everybody in the family, dozens of people. What's happening, William? How are you?
Negative. Mike just had a test and it's negative. But they do the tests, and it just shows you that the fallacy, it's what I've been saying, testing.
The fallacy of testing. He's about to teach us about the fallacy of testing.
It's not a perfect art, no matter what you do.
Testing is not a perfect art. Did everybody get that? The art of testing.
It's sort of like the art of the deal, only less disease, like not syphilis.
Testing is not a perfect art. So we test once a week. Now we're going to go testing once a day. But even
okay, so let's be really clear. The president was just saying yesterday, some people are for testing, other people are against it. They are literally, because of this guy in the White House, they have gone from testing once a week in the White House, which I don't believe. I think he gets tested probably like everybody else gets tested every time they interact with him, but he only gets tested once, to going, once a day.
when you test once a day, something happens where they catch something.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, this is what we've been saying about testing all along, is that it's not he's not talking about the antibody test. He's talking about the standard PCR test where you find out if you have it currently.
But, I've had very little personal contact with this gentleman.
Which is baloney. He literally, this is the dude who brings him his fish delight. By the way, somebody needs to talk about the articles that farts can pass the disease. So I think we're looking at patient zero.
He is a good person, but I've had very little.
I'm sure he's a good person. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know why he needs to mention this guy as a good person, so that crazy followers of Trump's don't think he's trying to murder the president by giving him COVID.
Contact Mike.
He's a good person. It probably wasn't an attempt at my life.
Had very little contact with him. But Mike was tested and I was tested. We were both tested.
Did it spook you? I mean, there can be
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, but it's one of those things. It's, as I said, I said yesterday.
Does the audio sound okay to you guys from the video, though? Just let me know.
Governor, all people are warriors in this country. Yes. Right now, we're all warriors. You're warriors, we're warriors. You can be with some.
Oh, you get to be a warrior now. Now that his personal valet, who brings him his fish delight from McDonald's when everybody else is trying to get him to stay on his diet so he doesn't have all the comorbidities that have been associated with COVID-19. He's a warrior now because his personal valet tested positive.
Body, everything's fine, and then something happens to that person and all of a sudden test positive. And
something happens to them? You mean they catch COVID-19? What?
Yeah, we're all warriors together.
We're all warriors. Just like, imagine me. Somebody start working on a GIF of me in 300. This is mega! I'm surprised they haven't done it.
You are, we all are.
We're all warriors. Look at me, I'm a warrior. Nothing says warrior like a Chinese American flag pin.
What we were saying before, it shows that testing, and we have the best tests in the world. But what happens in between when you got tested and just a couple of days later?
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what everybody has been saying about testing all along. He's like, I don't even know why you need testing. People have been tested. You can catch it 10 minutes later. Why did I turn into Jerry Seinfeld all of a sudden? All right.
So in this case, there were a number of days missed, and it was a long weekend and things, and so you never know.
You know what kind of carousing he got up to? He went out, God knows who he was hanging out with, where he went down to Brazil with the rest of the Secret Service and caught COVID-19. Who is this dude hanging? Like, literally, this is paranoia.
But
I don't know what happened in those 3 dark days where he caught it and brought it to me. Maybe he was turned.
Both tested in a negative fashion, I guess you would call it.
He was tested in a negative fashion, I guess you would call it. He got a positive result on a COVID-19 test. There's nothing negative about it. It's not a personal failing. It doesn't mean he's morally inferior or less talented.
Other questions?
Could we get your reaction to some breaking news? The Justice Department has decided to dismiss the case against Michael Flynn. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, it's breaking news. Can we get your reaction to the thing you set in motion today? Because you wanted to do this on the day that the
the Justice Department was trying to stop the judge from releasing the entire unredacted Mueller report. So you decided to have Barr pull the charges against Flynn?
I didn't know that was happening at this moment.
BS.
I felt it was going to happen just by...
You felt. There's a strange disturbance in the force.
Watching and seeing like everybody else does.
Is that how you learned? Really? You were just told of this?
He's an innocent man. He is...
No, he admitted guilt. He's a liar. He lied to the FBI to cover for you.
Great gentleman. He was targeted by the Obama administration, and he was targeted in order to try and...
No, he wasn't. He was prosecuted during your administration. He committed the crimes during it. During the Obama administration.
And what they've done is a disgrace, and I hope a big price is going to be paid. A big price should be paid. There's never been anything like this in the history of our country. What they did...
What are you talking... You mean you hiring a foreign agent to oversee national security policy and undermine the sanctions against Russia on your way in? I mean, not since the McCarthy era.
What the Obama administration did is unprecedented. It's never happened.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've never seen cops kick down a door before. Must have been some crime.
But a thing like this has never happened before in the history of our country. And I hope a lot of people are going to pay a big price because they're dishonest, crooked people. They're scum. And I say it a lot. They're scum. They're human.
I say that a lot. They're human scum. He means the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You know, all those folks, those characters based on those people in Criminal Minds and Mindhunter, the people who stop, interstate sex trafficking and track down serial killers and people shipping arms and human beings across borders and all that kind of stuff. Those people, they're scum.
Scum. This should never have happened in this country. A duly elected president.
Yeah, you should have never been elected, and that dude should have never been in charge of national secrets.
And they went after him by going after fine people.
What?
And those fine people said, no, I'm not going to lie.
Larry Fine. Right.
I can't lie. He's not the only one. There are many of them. And they all said, I can't lie. They could have...
He did lie. No, he admitted to lying. He said he lied. He lied. He lied. He got caught lying. That's what he was guilty of.
Said something like...
He was like, there was a cherry tree, and I don't remember the rest of the story, but it was Mike Flynn. That's all he did.
Make up a lie. Trump loves somebody or something or some country.
Nobody believes you love anything but yourself.
And they said, oh, you wouldn't have any problem. That's what they were trying to do. And
what? This is gorgeous.
It's a disgrace. The Obama administration, Justice Department was a disgrace. And they got caught. They got caught.
No, they didn't. Very strongly.
Honest people, but much more than this. It's treason. It's treason. So I'm very happy.
Okay, go for that. Do that. Please, can we have the discovery available to the people you're going to try for treason? Please, God, try those folks for treason. Anybody, pick a low level, pick a top level, pick anybody in the administration and try them for treason. The discovery process will be beautiful. I'm excited about it. Yeah, he has no idea what treason means. He's talking out of his ass. But please do so.
For General Flynn, he was a...
Oh, and by the way, pardon him. The judge still doesn't have to listen to them. They can still go forward with the prosecution. But please bring Flynn back into the administration by the election. Oh God. Yeah, I'm not on Twitch. I'm just on YouTube right now. That's all we're doing currently. Sorry about that, everybody. But Restream was being such a jerk and it was dropping out. I'm just on YouTube today. So like and subscribe. Join me over there. If you want some gaming, you can go to the Twitch channel. But right now I'm separating these things. I'm trying to refine my brand. It's not as good as the nursing brand right now, but it'll do in a pinch.
A great warrior, and he still is a great warrior. Now, in
You mean like we're all warriors? We're all, ugh, God, look at you.
my book, he's an even greater warrior. What happened to him should never happen again. And what happened to this presidency, to go through all of that and still do more than any president has ever done in the first 3 years, is pretty amazing when you think of it with what.
Yeah, absolutely. Let the strategic stockpile rot and run up $1 trillion deficit when there's not, when you don't actually have an economic collapse. And yeah, I mean, really, I mean, I can't agree with you more. This has never happened before.
Done with regulations and tax cuts and.
Yeah, like the water's never been more poisoned, the air's never been more tainted, the public lands being set up for mining. Yeah.
Second Amendment and all of the things we've.
Nobody's trying to take away the Second Amendment. You just can't have weapons of war on city streets. Nobody needs 30 rounds for self-defense unless they're defending themselves against police officers lawfully engaged in presenting them with a warrant.
Done.
And if you need that many bullets, you're a terrorist.
It's never happened. And until 2 months ago, we had the greatest economy in history. Unfortunately, we had to, like you did in Texas, we had to
shut it down. They told me, they came to me one day.
Close it down.
They said, you got to close it down. I said, what?
But for these people to have done that, I am very proud of General Flynn. I can tell you that right now.
Who would you like to see?
Yeah, please bring him. I'm very proud of him.
The price for this.
Oh, the people should pay a big price for what they've done to this country.
Yeah, do it. Pick your poison.
They should pay a big price, and
or this will pay a terrible price.
Partner, very complicit, is a thing called the media. The media is totally guilty, and all of those writers and so-called journalists, they're not journalists, they're thieves.
They're thieves. They're thieves. They stole the truth and buried it in an anthill.
Those journalists that received a Pulitzer Prize should be forced to give those Pulitzer Prizes back.
Why? They told the truth. They were right. Their stories were vetted.
Because they were all wrong.
Just because your crony is removing the charges, the new mayor gets the new sheriff to let his son out of jail. That's justice. Get out of town.
There was no, because if you...
Nobody's buying this. Nobody.
Oh, today, more documents came out saying there was absolutely no collusion with Russia.
No, that's not true.
Came out very loud and clear.
No, they didn't. You're blocking the full Mueller report right now.
And they wrote for years because they tried to do a number on the presidency. And this president happened to be me. Pulitzer Prizes should all be returned because...
Like, they should get a refund on them. Yeah. Can you return? Is it like a deposit on a bottle?
You know what? They were given out falsely. It was fake news. They were all fake news. Those Pulitzer Prizes should be given back immediately. And the Pulitzer Committee or whoever gives the prizes, they're a disgrace unless they take those prizes back.
Yeah, that's right. You know, just because nothing is more in line with justice and truth and the American way than me having William Barr drop charges against a guy that was helping me commit a crime. So all those people who reported on it.
Because
oh my God.
They got Pulitzer Prizes for what turned...
Oh my God, dude. Can you be more jealous about people getting actual awards?
...out to be false stories. And Pulitzer Prizes should be given to the ones that got it right. And I could give you a long list of those names too.
Yeah, like Hannity and Tucker didn't get a Pulitzer, so you're upset now?
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do. Judge Janine. Mr. President, I deserve a Pulitzer just for getting up off the couch momentarily to bring you hello and thank you for calling me. That's a healthy man.
I did. Yes, we are helping various countries. As you know, Russia's having a hard time.
Uh-huh. Really? Because they don't seem to think so.
With the same COVID-19. They got hit like everybody else got hit.
Oh, really? They didn't have another different disease? That's weird. Did they pronounce it the same?
And we had a long talk, and also the 75th year, and you know what the 75th year means?
Yeah. Thank you, Georgina. You know what the 75th year means while I think of it? What, 75 years of what? Say it so I don't have to remember it.
Very nice. He called me because we were partners.
Oh. What? Oh, you mean as the United States?
So to speak, for a very big successful war. And it was very nice he called to...
You mean World War II? What? Good Lord, man.
As a congratulatory call and as a call of celebration because it was...
He called me to thank me for winning World War II because we're both warriors now.
75th year.
Thank you, Georgina.
And also, I suggested if they need, because we have a lot of ventilators, if they need ventilators, we'd love to send them some.
No, thanks very much. We were in charge of putting the fake story about ventilators coming out of China. We insisted they do that so that more of your citizens would be killed. But thanks for falling for it, dummy. No, keep your ventilators. We've seen your ventilators. We'll get ours straight from China. They're buddies of ours, man.
We will do that at the appropriate time. We'll send them some ventilators. Yeah, we'll be doing that. And
at the appropriate time. What's the appropriate time? When they need them? If they need them, why aren't...
No, it's a very nice call. And remember this, the Russia hoax made it very hard for Russia and the United States to deal with each other.
Did it really? Didn't have anything to do with Syria or the fact that they were shooting dissidents in Germany and all over Europe. And thank you, Hal Vickery, to buy some Gas X for Trump.
They're a very important nation. We're the most powerful nation. They're a very powerful nation. Why would we not be dealing?
First of all, no, they're not. They're oil rich, just like some of the OPEC countries, but their economy is smaller than Italy's. Their economy, the economy of Russia, is less consequential than California. Do you call California and kiss the leaders of California's ass daily? What are you talking about? Russia is a giant chunk of land run by a mob. The people of Russia are under the thumb of a crook. Oh, that's why I see.
With each other. But the Russia hoax, this absolute dishonest hoax, made it very difficult for our...
Oh, I could have filled the strategic stock, but the cupboards were bare because I was so busy fighting the hoax and golfing at my own properties. But and having chocolate cake with people while ordering missile strikes. And yeah.
And their nation to deal.
Oh, his pupils are rocking today, Guido, today. Yeah. Dude is, I mean, they gotta, I guess, counteract the gin. I don't know what it is.
And we discussed that. I said, you know, it's a very appropriate time because things are falling out now and coming in line, showing what a hoax this whole investigation was. It was...
Really? The part where you're getting the Justice Department to file a motion so the judge can't release to Congress the unredacted Mueller report? You mean that part? The part that's falling out?
Total disgrace.
Yes, you are.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of things happen over the next number of weeks.
Yeah, well, life is very big.
This is just one piece of a very dishonest puzzle.
A dishonest puzzle. It says it's a picture on the front of it, but it's a totally different picture. I hate dishonest puzzles.
Arranged an arms control summit with President Putin and President Xi. Is that getting anywhere?
We are talking about arms control with Russia, and we...
Great. I feel safer already.
We'll go forward with that, and we are talking about it very seriously, having arms control. They have many nuclear weapons, and so do we. And we're
yeah. Tell me something that a fourth grader couldn't tell me. I mean, you're the president. You just talked to the leader of another country who has a lot of nuclear weapons, many of which are pointed at us still. Can you explain our relationship in a way that requires, I don't know, at least a GED.
Talking about a arms control with Russia.
Eileen.
They'd like to do it. We'd like to do it.
They'd like to do it. We'd like to do it. That's why I let the START treaty expire.
Sir, can I ask about the economy?
You know, we're thinking about it. You know, I'd like to do an arms treaty. Who wouldn't like to do an arms treaty? You got one laying around? I have one in my pocket right here, right next to showing that the testing is, you know, oh, this is the per capita one. What asshole gave me the per capita testing? You're fired. I'm kidding. I don't fire people. That producers on The Apprentice used to do that. I'll have somebody give you a good talking to.
33 million jobs have been lost in the last 7 weeks. Will there be more jobs lost in May, or is that number going to start coming down
Well,
next month?
yeah, Peter, the number will start coming down at an appropriate time, whatever that is. I'm viewing
I feel better.
the third quarter as being a very important quarter because it's, as I said, that'll be a transition.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could almost say a transition into greatness because I think next year.
Transition into greatness. Sorry, dude. All the Chinese and Russian money that you're hoping will be poured back into the stock market around August is going to be just as choppy and isn't going to be aimed at any American companies any more than anywhere else. Sorry. The Dow will go up and wages will be stagnant, and you're still going to be dealing with like 8% unemployment minimum.
A phenomenal year economically.
So yeah, so guys, just don't eat this year. Save all your eating for next year. And stop renting. Just unrent.
And we're working very hard now. The governor's working along with us. The relationship with Texas has been phenomenal.
Really? Republican governor, big southern state? That's shocking.
Texas is opening up, and a lot of places are opening up. And
yeah, and what's the infection and death rate look like if you take New York, California, and Washington out? What does it look like?
Want to do it, and I'm not sure that we even have a choice. I think we have to do it. You
have a choice. You're the president of the United States. And now we're just pretending. I see. All right, we're just pretending.
This country can't stay closed and locked down for years. Somebody could say, let's.
Nobody's saying closed and locked down for years. Like, this is like that argument that people have when they're talking about. I gotta straighten my chair up because I need to sit up like an adult. It's like that argument when you're having with somebody and they go, look, okay, so I'm not perfect, you're perfect. Like, nobody brought up perfection. Can we just talk about the actual details that we're communicating right now?
We're closed for a couple of years.
Yeah, let's close it down for a couple of years. Let's just sit on it for a couple of years. Yeah, who was that? Was that the same person who said, ride it out, ride 'em cowboy, ride 'em cowboy?
United States of America, the greatest economy in history. 2 months.
Glory days.
In the history of our country, in the history of the world, we had a far greater economy.
I mean, you mean because of the how many like smartphones there are out there? Or are we going back to like Babylon and the like the height of the English Empire? I mean, I'm just saying. I've heard great things about what Genghis Khan is doing. He's doing some great work lately, and you might want to.
Than anybody, including China, by a lot. And
by a lot.
And we had to close it down in order to really do something about the plague. But we did something, and we did a lot. And we also, you know what, Governor, we learned a lot about it.
We did.
We know that you may have fires everywhere.
Totally, we learned so much. Teach me, O Master. Teach us all what we could learn from each other. So brilliant.
Once in a while in certain locations. Some little ones, maybe some big ones, but you know how to shut it down.
That's
you might
exactly
want
right.
to speak about that.
Sure, I would. I was talking with Dr. Birx about that, and so what we've done, we've been able to contain the spread of the coronavirus in Texas, but at the same time, we created these surge forces that will go out to regions where there are flare-ups. And it's like putting out a fire. We have a surge force working in the Panhandle in Texas right now, up in Amarillo.
I'm not sure I was aware that Abbott was in a wheelchair until just now. That's fascinating to me.
North of Amarillo because of an outbreak at a meatpacking plant. There's several other issues with other meatpacking plants in Texas. Basically, there's only 3 categories causing any type of outbreak.
How you drunk? Is he drunk? No. Trump is drunk and on speed at the same time.
Our meatpacking plants, there are jails, and there are senior centers. And so we...
You mean anywhere people are grouped together. So you've got a bunch of people sequestering at home, you got a bunch of people practicing social distancing, and everywhere you don't have social distancing, there are these enormous breakouts. So what's the answer? Open up restaurants and theaters and bars. And so we've learned a lot, have we?
Task forces that focus on those three areas. If it weren't for those three categories, the people in Texas testing positive would be very minimal.
That's because they're all staying home. Those are the people who can't stay home. Those are everybody. You're listing everyone who can't socially distance. And then you're telling people they should stop social distancing. Where is the disconnect? How is this? How are they not able to process that thought? Like Trump just literally was saying, like, in between when you get tested, you could catch it a little while later. That's so, like that just occurred to him.
And the governor and I have spoken about what he's doing with senior citizen centers is incredible.
Is it what you mean? What every state is doing with them, which is testing everybody who goes in, limiting the number of people who goes in there, providing ways for them to remove people who have tested positive from other people, doing regular temp checks.
The time and effort and love that you're giving to senior citizens, they were just what has gone on throughout the country in some instances, as you know, senior citizens areas. And the governor's really made
areas
at a point, really almost before anybody I can think of. So.
And because of that, we have one.
You mean before Inslee? What are you talking about?
The lowest death rates in the United States of America.
That's right.
The lowest death rate in the United States of America. So far. You didn't start getting it until just recently. You have not reached your peak yet. Texas has not reached their peak, and they're already going to be opening again. Dude, watch what you say, because this will be played back.
Texas, police were used with an armored vehicle and guns drawn to shut down.
Valium? I don't know that he's on Valium, unless he had another panic attack, because that's the theory about him going to when he went to Walter Reed.
On a bar that's opened up in going against the order. What role do police have?
Why are they both doing Illuminati hand gestures? Pizzagate, Pizzagate.
In enforcing these kind of lockdown and social distancing orders.
Well, there's
Trump's just bored. He's just.
There's different standards used in different communities. However, today I made one thing clear,
did you?
Is as we go through this process of trying to maintain order in our states, as we are asking the people in our state to comply with these orders, we should not be taking these people and put them behind bars. These people who have spent their life building up a business and being told to shut it down and lose every penny they have, and then if they don't follow every little fine point of all the rules, they suddenly are subject to arrest. That is wrong, and that's why I issued another executive.
Yeah, they're risking infecting other people and causing that person to die. Again, this is like the Republicans seem to be completely incapable of understanding. If I have a coffee shop, but you remember this analogy? I used to use this on HSRPM all the time. But if I had a coffee shop and I hired 10 people, I was a regular business in the neighborhood, it was necessary to the function of the town that this coffee shop be going, because just the throughput, the service it provides to the people, all that kind of stuff. And the only way I could stay in business was to shoot one customer randomly a year, which is what they're asking us to put up with when they talk about unnecessary pollutants in the water. Like, sorry, I mean, my business can't be profitable if I have to clean up this sludge that's in the water. So some of you are going to have to be born with birth defects. Some of you are going to have to die for this chemical plant or this coal mine to operate. And that's just life. That's what he's talking about right now. Why should you have to go to jail just because you're killing someone.
Order today,
Good Lord.
saying that in the state of Texas, no one could be put behind bars because they're not following an executive order.
Yeah, fine them. If you're not going to jail them, fine them. Find their place of business.
So that includes the woman that we've been reading about with the beauty salon.
She's free today.
Good.
Sir, following up on the coronavirus.
Free to spread the virus to all of her patients. None of them are bothering to check because they're all QAnon psychopaths who think that it's a fake disease and a false flag. And she's not even washing her shears in the blue gel anymore.
Has the West Wing, has the Oval Office been deep cleaned? Are you contact tracing the people around this area that would have had contact with this person? Is there a 14-day quarantine?
Explain contract. Please let him explain contact tracing.
Or should there be for those who are in touch with
They're doing everything that you can do, again, within the limits of testing, and you know what that is. We have the ultimate.
No, tell me what the limitations of testing are. You mean they're not tackling people? They've cut down on tours?
Testing. We have the best tests in the world, and we gave more than anybody else.
Okay. Did you not test that guy? So is this an argument for good or bad? Yeah, we're not wishing ill on anybody in the chat room, by the way. General hard rules on that. No wishing of violence or anything on anyone. Just for the record. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I've always said testing is somewhat overrated because what happens?
Because why? Because you test somebody one day and the next day they could catch it. This is the dumbest.
After somebody takes a test, what's going on there? And Mike was just saying the word essential workers. And as you know, essential workers are immune from that. Mike, do you want to?
Are immune from what? From getting arrested or multiple testing? Oh my God, the slapdash use of words like immune. Good Lord.
Maybe mention that?
Maybe, Mike, you can explain what contact tracing is. I'm going to take a quick nap.
Well, from the CDC guidelines, it's been very clear that from the beginning of this outbreak, for anyone that comes into contact with someone with coronavirus, we early on recommended that people self-quarantine.
Yeah, that's all you recommended to the people flying in. The 40,000 people who flew in, all of whom were not American citizens, by the way. Some of them were just living here on resident visas. I have no problem with those people returning, by the way, to the country, except that considering where they had just been and considering the extremity of the contagion at that point, and we were already aware of that they should have been put in mandatory 14-day quarantine like every other country was doing it. But he was just like, close the border, don't let anybody in, I'll use it as leverage during my new tariff deal. And then, maybe they'll stay home, maybe they won't. And then we went from 15 cases to 70 some odd thousand dead. And now we have 1 million cases and they want to open the country up. I don't understand where they miss the map. And yes, Pence needs some sleep. He got some bad news yesterday.
That recommendation, of course, was before we had done, at this point, some 7.7 million tests around the country in states.
Yeah, well below other countries per capita. And yeah.
Like Texas or.
And you're combining, was it Russia, Germany, and India, and we had done fewer tests than they had?
Are distributing tests very quickly to people that...
Quickly? All right. That's wonderful.
Either have symptoms or are suspected to possibly have contracted the coronavirus.
It's asymptomatic spread is the problem, and the specific issue with this disease is asymptomatic spread. Did we learn nothing from the AIDS crisis?
But with regard to essential workers, the president referred to, we've always had an exception. People to keep food on the table, people that are involved in public safety, most especially healthcare workers.
Yeah, you should make tests available daily to them as they come to those essential sites. You should have, you should use the DPA to force production of testing and redundancy testing, meaning on-site, every place that, food delivery, food preparation, nurses, doctors, EMTs, police officers, everybody who was in the field, it's an essential worker, should have had a redundancy test available to them within weeks, as fast as possible.
We've asked them to continue
with contact tracing if you couldn't.
To go to work by taking other countermeasures.
What are you going to do? Drop? What do you mean countermeasures? You're going to plant claymores outside their front door?
Including testing to ensure that they've not contracted the disease. And as the president indicated, the White House now is initiating an effort that the president and I not only will be tested every day, but I think everyone that comes into contact with.
Why would you do that? Gee, because they could catch it between today and tomorrow. That's why you're protesting. Protesting for testing, not anti-testing. Like, I'm protesting. He's anti-testing. There you go.
President will be tested every day, and so.
Can we do a cognitive test as well? For all this talk about Biden's mental decline, can we have him just like, it doesn't have to be anything complicated, just square pegs and round holes, you know?
Keeping the essential work here at the White House.
Two little moose.
Moving forward, and our national response is the priority going forward.
And the big thing is we've been tested.
The big thing is we've been tested, but not people are for, very few people are protesting.
Can I ask Dr. Brooks a question about Texas?
Yes, please.
Dr. Brooks, do you think that the Texas reopening plan is great? Are you thumbs up with them doing the 20%?
Oh, she's in space karate today. We're back to space karate.
5% capacity for
the Georgia O'Keeffe space karate outfit. We on Elysium all enjoy the protection of the nanoparticle biodome spray that we all use. This will never be made available to the poor.
Theaters and restaurants and the like.
Yeah, no, we had a long discussion.
No, the president gets the special light swab, the mouth swab, where they just do that.
Had a particular discussion, and I think many people.
Thanks, Tyson.
No, I don't understand the nail salon piece because I've never had my nails done. So I.
Oh, this will be a cute little anecdote. Please tell us. By the way, I've had my nails done. Thanks, Carl. Can't say it's Valium, but it's benzodiazepine, maybe intravenously. That's fascinating. I have not heard that from. I'll reach out to Noel Castor and see if he's ever seen him do IV stuff. Although he's older now, so look at that. There we go.
It's true. So I didn't.
It's a whatever. I've never had him. Have you? Trump's had his nails done. I got news for you. The dude gets his teeth replaced every, 8 months?
I understand it. So we talked about, not having them in the first opening wave because you can't really physical distance. And we had that discussion and he agreed and we've moved forward together. And I think it's those kind of dialogue.
Okay, and if you knew about nail salons and hair salons, you know that nail salons and hair salons actually are one of the few businesses that were shuttered during the beginning of this that do have PPE. Whenever people are, when women dye their hair, you see them mixing the stuff up and painting that stuff on, they're wearing masks, they're wearing rubber gloves. The same thing is true of nail salons. Most of the people working there wear face masks and gloves anyways, much less beyond. So if you are going to open up a business, they have them available. You can be given a mask and gloves, after the fact, given a mask to wear while you're there, get your hands done. They get washed like 9 times.
And I think what's really been impressive to me.
It's ridiculous that they're like restaurants fine, but nail salons not. It's just, they have no idea about the details of anything.
By the governors is how much they know about epidemiology. So they will never be confused in another pandemic ever again. Because
Oh, good. All right. Well, cool, dude. We're ready for the next one. Sweet. I feel much better.
He came with all of his data about what county had what that was a prison. And believe me, I had all my data with me. And he was able to answer every county and what the issue was. And I think when you look at Houston, when you look at Dallas, and you see the ability to really contain and mitigate those epidemics, but at the same time contain epidemics, then not allow them to spread in the community. This is what.
For next time, is this a pitch session for 28 months later?
We've been asking governors to do with the test and using focus testing to really find asymptomatic cases and protect the vulnerable. And the ability to go into prison, to go into meatpacking plants, and go into the senior care centers and proactively test is really quite extraordinary. And I think
Trump was just saying nobody's for testing. What are you talking about, crazy woman? He just said nobody's for it. He's dozing off making... Look, they're both Illuminati hand gesturing right now, right in front of the new paint job on Air Force One. By the way, nice table decoration. Well, if we can't have snacks, at least bring in the model plane.
Still remain concerned about asymptomatic spread, and we think that the progress that they're making on testing in a focused way to protect others is really a way that we can move forward together to protect everyone in the community.
So Texas is a role model for other states? Or
Every state
No.
is different, so I don't want to get in a comparison with the governors, because I've talked to some
Because the answer is no.
incredible governors who are all doing quite a good job.
That's true.
Dr. Burks, follow up?
That's so true. It's true. You don't want to compare. You know, states aren't different. Some states are more talented than other states. So there's that, you know.
Mr. President, 20 states by the account of multiple organizations right now that haven't met the guidelines that you set here have either partially or completely reopened. What do you say to those states that haven't met the guidelines that are already starting that process now?
You mean Texas?
Looked at all of them. We've spoken to many of the governors, most of the governors. As you know, we give leeway to the governors, and these are governors
So that if anything goes wrong, I can blame them?
that have done a good job in, I think, all cases. I have some that I don't think are doing a particularly good job.
Who? I mean, he's sitting right there.
For the most part, they have, and these governors have, and we give them the leeway. They have to do what they're doing, like Governor Abbott. When you look at the job he's done in Texas, I rely on his judgment. And you have parts of Texas, vast parts of Texas, where there's no
If I tell, there's vast parts of Texas where there's no people. I mean, problem
whatsoever. I mean, there's like literally nothing.
It's amazing how COVID has not spread through sand and cacti.
And it would be a shame to keep that closed. I mean,
half of our counties either have no cases or 5
or no people.
Fewer cases.
Yeah, it's, the governors have great power as to that given by us. We want them to do that. We rely on them. We trust them, and hopefully they're making the right decision.
And if they don't open up, I will be on the news every day saying that people are fed up and they won't put up with it, and they should really rise up and yeah.
Can I ask about Georgia right now? There's been some dramatic video of an unarmed black Georgia man who was shot by police while on a jog. Been a lot of.
He wasn't shot by police. He was shot by two rednecks. They weren't police. They were just citizens. It was a citizen's arrest. They were chasing him down with guns. He wasn't shot by police. This is not a police altercation.
Protests about this. Have you seen the video and your reaction to that situation?
So
I've not seen the video.
Getting a full report on it this evening. My heart goes out to the parents and to the loved ones of the young gentleman. It's a very sad thing, but I will be given a full report this evening.
Haven't seen the video yet, to be clear.
No, I haven't.
Mr. President.
And it wasn't a police shooting.
Report about Saudi.
Unless we're going to just say Zimmerman was a cop now. Is that what we're doing? Is that we're just calling anybody who has a gun who thinks they're a cop is a cop? Is this? Are we straight up road warrioring it now? Road warrioring. Say that in a road warrioring really fast without. I think a tooth came loose.
They're removing anti-missile Patriot missile systems from Saudi Arabia. Can you confirm? Is that true?
Well, I don't want to talk
Thanks for subscribing, Denise.
about it, but we're doing some things. We're making a lot of moves in the Middle East and elsewhere. We're doing all this kind of stuff while you're wagging the dog while all this stuff is going on. A lot of things all over the world militarily. We've been taken advantage of all over the world, our military, and in the sense that and this has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia, this has to do with other countries, frankly, much more. We have the most powerful military in the world. We've spent $1.5 trillion since I've been here, more than that.
Yeah, we were 6 times all other militaries combined. Now we're 8 times all other militaries combined. And why? So that you can rent out our soldiers as human shields to the Saudis. Once the Yemenis, you know, the Houthi rebels in Yemen or whomever it was through Iran as a proxy fired upon Saudi oil facilities, we sent U.S. soldiers to guard those posts from what are they going to do? Bat the missiles out of the air? No, so that they can be human shields, so that if Yemen fires on the facility again, which by the way was overproducing oil at the time and in the middle of a pissing contest with Russia, if the Yemenis fire on that and kill an American soldier, it gives us incentive to go destroy Iran.
$5 trillion.
They're just there as a mercenary force for Saudi Arabia. I don't know. Yeah.
On a military that we now have the strongest military we've ever had. We have the best equipment, the best missiles, planes, the best.
Tell us about how there was no ammunition. The $1.5 billion in smart missiles that the Obama administration authorized in their last year in office, because they'd fired so many smart missiles at ISIS while they were in office that they were running low. So they authorized $1.5 billion in smart missiles. And they told you it was empty. The general told you it was empty, so because they knew you would be a sucker and buy 10 times that amount.
Everything.
And if you recall, we had no ammunition. We were shooting bubbles like Star-Lord in the movie I didn't see, but that I sided with Thanos on.
And just authorized new ships being built. They're all being built in the United States. And their beauties is we have the best submarines in the world by far. And we have
always have
submarines being built. And we go around and protect other countries and other countries.
Our interests in the world with bases in other countries, because we have strategic value there. You're just trying to keep us from putting troops, keeping Russia at bay. Russia is complaining about NATO. That's all this is about.
Don't respect us like they should.
And if you pull out of other places, it gives you a smokescreen that when you pull back NATO troops or protecting Ukraine, that is just part of your whole thing about spending money.
In some cases,
on other people.
They don't even like us. And those days are over.
What countries don't like us that we have military bases in? Iraq, you mean? Please pull the base out of Iraq. Do that.
Days are over. So things are moving.
I'm sure every Republican will vote to remove the base in Iraq.
And I'm not putting Saudi on that thing, but we are doing certain.
No, why would you?
Things that will be positive for us, and I think very positive for them too.
For the Saudis? What do you think? What's the over-under? 60-40? Yeah, I can't stop lying. This is exactly what this is. This is so it gives him cover.
Saudi Arabia is a very wealthy country, and they've agreed.
No, they're not. They're cash poor. They have investments all over the world. You are in bed with them for buildings and like Saudi Arabia is a dump.
To help defray some of the costs, which nobody else would ever ask for, of course. You probably.
What?
You have to.
You're using our soldiers as mercenaries.
A good business person in charge of a country. I don't want to sound overly anything. I just want to tell you that.
You don't sound overly anything. I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, insane. I take it back.
Very wealthy countries we were protecting for nothing.
Listen, we don't protect them. We protect our interests in the region, and therefore we have bases in places like Qatar. We're not protecting Qatar from the Arab League. That's a staging point for the Gulf, and in case Iran decides to attack Israel. Ask Israel how they feel about us pulling our bases out of those countries, because that's a big part of it as well.
We're very little. South Korea has agreed to pay substantial money to us, which we appreciate very much.
And if they don't, what happens to them? North Korea has your buddy running it, and they'll get murdered.
And we ask
it's extortion.
Countries to
You're
help us.
extorting allies.
We're spending $1.5 trillion. We're spending all of this money. It costs us a lot of money. Our military budget's 3 times more.
Yeah, look how expensive the pandemic response team is. It's a waste of money. I mean, ultimately, not having it cost us $6.4 trillion in less than 3 months. But, you know, the pandemic response team costs almost $30 million a year.
And even 4 times more than the second largest spender of money. All right? It's more than that.
Largest spender of money.
4 times more plus. And if we're going to defend countries, they should also respect us.
We're not defending those countries. We're defending our own interests. Yeah.
By making a contribution.
It doesn't. Everything is so transactional. He does not understand regional security. But please tell Israel we're pulling out of Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and Iraq, and just tell them we're just shutting those bases down. Just tell them. Go ahead, please, and let us all listen to the phone call.
Negotiate with everything, and frankly, this country was taken advantage of by
Israel. Is that what you were going to say? No, I don't think so.
Friend and foe.
Okay, well, that's pretty close.
But not any longer.
What about pulling U.S. troops out of the Sinai? I've seen reports about that.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And then, I don't want to talk about that.
talk about that yet. But we have pulled a lot of troops out of different places.
Yeah, we're not going to pull them out of the Sinai because, that's
we
what
were
this is.
guarding the border between Turkey and Syria, and for years, and we had thousands.
And we stopped, and it didn't take anything. We didn't lose a single American life in that process. And the minute we pulled out, Yazidis and Kurds were murdered in mass.
The people there, and
just the people who stood by us and fought ISIS. Screw them, right?
So wait a minute, let me ask you this. Turkey, Syria, 2 big countries. They know how to guard their border. They've been fighting with each other for years. Why do we have thousands of soldiers? Ultimately, we got it down to 57 soldiers, and then 27 soldiers, and then they were
And then how many dead?
getting a little hostile toward each other.
And who has our base now? What country has our base now? Oh yeah, Russia.
Get my 27 soldiers out, and that was about a year ago, and I took a lot of heat. People said, "Oh, that's terrible." I said, "No, it's not terrible. Nothing's happened on the border. They've been fighting each other for 1,000."
Nothing's happened on the border. Like literally, I mean, if why are we surprised he's shrugging off 73,000 American deaths so far?
Years under different names, probably a lot longer than 1,000 years. I said,
Okay, so it's the same fight that's been going on for thousands of years, yeah? So basically the Civil War was just, it's like the Sioux against the Comanche, 2.0. What's the difference?
I don't want my troops there, so we're essentially out of Syria, other than we kept the oil.
Did we?
We kept the oil. Of course, that was...
So we're basically extorting countries and stealing resources. Great. All right. Stay classy, America.
Better 2 months ago than it is now. Keeping the oil today is not as good as...
Yeah, it's funny. Was it worth all those lives? Probably not today, but it seemed like it at the time. Seems like old times.
It would have been 2 months ago. 2 months ago was a wise thing. Today it's like...
Give it a year.
Dumb. No. 2 months ago it was murderous and dumb, and now it's murderous, dumb, and economically ill-advised.
Today, I think so. By the way, oil prices have gone up.
Right.
Which is great for your oil industry,
Exactly.
and it's great for jobs. Because
you manipulated the market.
It's millions of jobs. We built the greatest energy country in the world.
We don't have millions of jobs unless you're counting gas stations. And believe me, gas stations get more use when prices go down.
Far.
They sell a lot of other stuff too.
And prices are inching up. Then I saw it 25 today, actually, right? $25 a barrel. Yeah,
Good for jobs.
It's good for jobs. That's what we want, jobs.
Oh yeah? It's not good for all those jobs that require the gas.
Governor Abbott said,
Yes, go ahead, Jennifer. Please.
Governor Abbott said something about businesses and liability. Can you say, sir, do you support Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, there's no liability. They just open and people die, they die. We got to get it. We have to get our country open. We have to get our open.
Also, liability reform for U.S.
Well, I think you have to have something having to do with liability for COVID, because you can't.
He means liability protection. but he uses the first word of stuff because he can't remember the rest of the concept.
Have a restaurant, and a guy is going to open, and it's a nice business, but it's not exactly the oil business in its prime, right? And
oh, hey, dumbass with a restaurant. You're not as important as the oil industry, okay, buddy? Just check yourself. Take a whiff.
somebody leaves and they say, "Oh, I'm going to sue them because they caught the plague," and now
at a restaurant. So we're basically indemnifying all restaurants if you get sick there. For
whether he was guilty or not, the legal fees will drive him out of business. You can't do that. So I think you.
What do you mean whether he was guilty or not? It's about employees, asshat. It's not.
You probably have to have something. Yeah, I would support that. I mean, you go to a game and you sue the team owner, or you go to someplace and it would be litigation heaven. And you'll never know where they caught it. You never know where they catch it. So
yeah, yes, you would, because you would have contact tracing. Because
you have to have something like that. Otherwise, there's going to be lawsuits all. I mean, there already is in this country, but you'd have lawsuits all over the place, right?
You mean like your Justice Department suing to stop the judge from releasing the unredacted Mueller report, like that kind of all the time litigation?
These international travel restrictions that you impose on China and all around the world, do you see any scenario of easing them anytime soon?
Yeah, at some point when they
decide to let us fly back into their countries.
Clean up, and when everybody cleans up, and when the plague disappears, sure. I mean, you want to.
When it disappears, like we want to shut down our country for 2 years, and that's a ridiculous notion from other people. But he's like, when it's gone for what? Forever?
International travel. Our airlines are going to do very well again. We saved the airlines with $25 billion and another $25 billion.
So $50 billion to the airlines, and are they saved? Are they saved?
No, you want
to. What's it going to look like? What's the payback look like? Are we just giving them the $50 billion to work on this? Are we picking winners and losers? Was it certain airlines?
International travel, but you don't want to have it when France is having a hard time. They did another shutdown, and Spain is having a terrible.
Why do they have? Gee, what guys? Do you remember why was the shutdown? Why did France have a shutdown? Again, oh right, because they opened too early.
Time, and Italy, I don't even have to tell you about.
Yeah, please tell us about Italy. Explain Italy to us. They bent their curve.
No, but we want to be open to those countries at the appropriate time. Absolutely.
You mean we're not going to not have travel forever and ever? Is it going to end like the task force, like the sun, like all life? The universe is expanding, so eventually we will be Italy.
Quite successful in taking on the pandemic and now opening up the country.
Right.
Have you considered calling the German Chancellor to ask for sort of advice?
Yeah, dude. I mean, look at that guy. Wow. Bloodshot eyes, dilated pupils, blotchy.
Now, Germany, we're very close to Germany. We have a very good relationship with Germany.
Weird lump over his right eye all of a sudden. Am I the only one seeing that?
Germany.
Thought it was just like from, frowning and whatnot.
Very good. They have a very low mortality rate like we do. We have a low mortality rate also.
Oh, do we?
And frankly, if you took New York out of the equation, we would really have a low mortality rate.
If you take New York out of the equation, the rest of the country is going up in mortality and cases.
But no, but I speak to her all the time. We communicate. We communicate. Our countries communicate, especially, yes.
So how much influence does Fox News have over your thinking on the pandemic?
No different than anybody else. I mean, I watch Fox News and I watch others, and I read a lot of newspapers, and I.
Oh yeah, how many? Oh, we're getting into Sarah Palin territory now. Look at him looking right down the barrel of the camera right now. Criminy, dude. I read a lot of newspapers.
A lot of information from my people. I think I'm very.
Yeah, you mean the ones that hide negative articles from you so you don't pop a stitch?
Well versed when it comes to not only the pandemic, but everything. I mean, I enjoy that, and I think I have an obligation to do it. So,
oh yeah, you have an obligation to read up on stuff. Wow.
but there's certainly
this is him well read.
More honorable source than some. I mean, some is fake. If you look at CNN, it's fake news. If you look at MSDNC,
see what I did there? MSDNC, see, they work for the Dems. They're the lefties.
At MSDNC, you know what that means, right?
Yes, we know what it means. Thank you for you didn't invent it, but please continue your Sarah Palining.
Democratic National Committee.
Yeah, thank you. We get it. Everybody knows what you mean.
You look at NBC.
I don't know if you know. I call it Fox NRNC instead of Fox News. RNC means Republican National Committee. I call it Fox News Channel the Republican News Committee, the FNC.
NBC to me is very dishonest news, and that's why they fired Andy Lack. I guess you have to ask them, but Andy Lack.
Really? Why did they fire Bill O'Reilly? Why'd they fire the head of Fox News? Why is that? Why do people get fired? Let's see. So Andy Lack got let go in a restructuring, and Roger Ailes, what was he doing? I'll have to look it up. I'll ask Megyn Kelly the next time she does a puff piece.
It was a hack, and they fired him, and they did.
Did they really? Why would they fire a hack if what they want is hacking?
Big favor to the world and to this country, but
did they? So MSNBC, thank you, MSDNC.
I find NBC to be very dishonest. I find
really,
which is a Comcast division.
I call it Concast.
I call it Concast with.
Oh my God! Please say Scourge
with an N. I don't use the M. I always call it Con.
Oh, it's the I see. So that's guys, MSDNC. I was mishearing, and then this he says Concast, and there's what he does. Follow me on this. This is good. So if there's in Comcast, because it's communication and broadcasting, and they made their name out of that. He takes the M out. Wait. And he puts an N in. That's amazing. Oh, it's so
A chat
smart.
with you, and somehow death loses its sting.
See, I think because he means con as in conservative.
Yes. ABC, I thought he gave me a very fair interview.
I call it ass-bearing chest. ABC. SKBC. I call it SKBC. It's like they've stayed at one of the Trump hotel beds.
The other night. Very.
Yeah, you mean the one they edited? Oh my God. Like, I want to see the director's cut of that. That was insane.
Good professional. I've had very good relationships.
Well, I'm very close to a lot of reporters that will not get closer than 15 feet away from me. Literally, that dude was sitting outside the window of breath-carrying particles. Did you notice that? The 6-foot separation wasn't happening. He was 15 feet away.
With him, as you know.
And the chairs were aimed this way, so even if...
CBS is having a hard time, but they're not getting it straight. In fact...
CBS. Please, yeah, break down how all the networks are failing. And then tell us how NBC should have kept The Apprentice and you were denied an Emmy.
Last night I read where they did a false report where they actually got people to make it look like it was a terror. Did you see what happened? They got people. Let's get some people because they want to make it look like it was turmoil. And they do that with this White House all the time. They love...
What?
They love the word...
Does anybody know what he's talking about? Because I don't... Is really... This is what we're... CBS is rounding up crisis actors? Are we going full Alex Jones now?
When there's no chaos whatsoever. They love the word chaos. But what happened...
There's no chaos. There's never been any chaos. My pupils are completely natural. It helps me spot prey in low light.
At CBS yesterday was terrible.
Look how bright and yellow and like how many lights are in that friggin' room, and look how big his pupils are. That's ridiculous.
Well, where they got a lot of people to try and pretend like it was a mass amount of chaos and disorder. You saw that. It was terrible. So the
No, nobody knows what you're talking about.
news media in our country is a mess, but they fired Andy Lack, and that was a good thing. That's a big step forward.
When is your
Just laying one out.
Scenario where
They're going to have to burn that chair after.
that be reimposed, that there's spikes in places and you have to.
I hope not. I don't think so. I think you're going to have embers, as I say. I think you're going to have some fires, maybe some fairly big fires by comparison to.
And by fires, I mean multitudes of dead Americans.
What people would even think. But this gentleman's a total professional. I think we've learned.
He's not supposed to be a professional. He's supposed to be a public servant. See, a public servant serves the public in their role as a representative in their government, whereas a professional is only there for their own personal profit at the expense of the customer and their competitors. Just a distinction.
A lot. If you would have said that question a number of months ago, it would have been different. The answer would have been different. But today,
Really?
I think we've
I would have said there's just one person and she's an old lady and we probably are better off without her.
learned a lot. And you're going to have some areas in Texas where you'll have to put him out, and he'll put him out. What do you think about that?
Well, and we have learned so much the past few months, and we now know first how to go in and contain, but also we now have the resources to go in and to contain. So we're going into these meat packing facilities, we're testing everybody, or we'll go into a jail and we'll test everybody.
And then what? What do you do with them? And then who's interacting with them? Are you contact tracing?
Separate those who test positive from those who test negative. But most importantly,
yeah, the color by numbers version of dealing with a pandemic, you mean? The kind of thing an 8-year-old could figure out?
we go into these senior centers.
Let's get the sick people who might make the other people sick and have them sit over there, and the people who aren't sick should go in the other room so they don't get sick. Really? This, sharpest minds.
Because their lives are so vulnerable, and we focus on our seniors, and we focus on ways to reduce their deaths. And so we now have all of these strategies to make sure that we are able to contain any type.
It's not seniors, it's people with comorbidities. It just so happens that seniors have more comorbidities, but you have no idea who has the comorbidities that will interact poorly with these unless you have a it's like,
outbreak, and that allows the rest
ridiculous
of the economy of big states like Texas.
Illuminati hand gestures again. He's doing them. He's doing Illuminati hand gestures
To
again.
continue to go and grow.
Pizzagate, he's pizzagating.
While we manage and contain the outbreaks where they exist.
That we wouldn't have known 2 months ago. He couldn't have given that answer. The governor couldn't have given that answer 2 months ago.
Because the pandemic response team didn't exist and the task force had its head up its ass and you were pretending that it wasn't a problem and you were watching the videos and you could not have not seen them of them spraying Clorox out of vent trucks driving down streets in not just China, but in Italy and European countries. And you went, yeah, I don't know, it's probably gonna, there's no sign that this is gonna.
But we've learned. There's still things we don't know about this.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that we know about that you have yet to catch up to. Apparently, you're still shocked that people can get sick after they've had a test.
Crazy plague, this particular virus.
This crazy plague, it's a crazy plague. Well, I think we've again found patient zero.
But the answer that Greg just gave, which was so good, I don't think you could have given that answer, and I wouldn't have known that answer either 2 months ago. So
what you wouldn't have known that when you're in a pandemic or an epidemic, let's say it's not even a pandemic yet, you have an epidemic in an area that you separate the sick from the well and you try to keep the contagion from spreading. That's a mystery to you. How is that? How could you have not given that answer 2 months ago?
Learned a lot.
On the Wuhan
Really? Oh, it is.
lab,
It's great. I have a subscription to Skillshare, and I sleep through it every night.
I think it said on Sunday that there would be a very strong report coming out soon about the connection
Yeah,
between the
yeah.
lab and the virus. Is that still coming? When should we expect that?
It's coming. I don't know that I'm going to give it to you. We're going to learn. Look, it came out of China. Okay? Whether people like to say it or not, everybody knows that. I guess it pretty much, I think that's pretty much known. They tried to blame Europe. They were saying it came out of Europe. It came out of China.
Yeah, But the cases that came to the East Coast of the United States came from China through Europe. You get it? So all those people that you didn't let in, supposedly, that you were stopping flying on the West Coast because you narrowcast who could fly in, they all just went through a European country on their way here. I think that's the answer to that question that he had, that idea he somehow has in his head about Italy, like they all were going to go to America and then they went to Italy. I think he's confused. I think he thinks they went through Italy on their way, like that they weren't on their way here. They could fly through Italy to get to here is effectively what happened. Like if you flew in through Italy, they didn't stop you. So everybody knew, like if you can't book a flight right now, they're not taking any flights. But if I fly to Italy first, then I can catch a plane to the States. All right, well, we'll just bounce through there.
Europe went to 184 countries, probably more than that now.
And most people don't even know that there are more than that.
That was a week ago, 184 countries. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? Can you believe there are 184 countries?
And it could have been stopped at the...
Yes, farts can pass this. Don't make me go down, pardon the expression, a rabbit hole on fecal oral transmission.
It could have been stopped right at the source, and it would have been easy to do, but...
Yeah, how would it have been easy to do? It was asymptomatically spread. It was, people literally could carry it and not know they had it, have zero symptoms. They wouldn't even have, if they went through a fever, they have these fever monitors. If you ever fly to China, which I highly recommend at some point in the future, when all else, when this crazy plague is gone. But if you go to China, if you go through their airports, they have temperature sensors, and they make you fill out stuff if you felt ill for every other bug that exists out there. The problem with this was there was no, like, you didn't have to have a fever. You could be asymptomatic and carry it. That's how it got everywhere.
It would have been stopped instantly if they'd have been psychic.
Something happened. Something happened. Either they
you think? Tell us all about it.
Made a terrible mistake. Probably it was incompetent. Somebody was stupid.
Let me guess. Let me see. Who could that have been? Who could have been early on in this incredibly stupid and continued to be stupid during this thing? Who could have it been? Give me a hint. Give me a hint. Oh, yeah, that's okay. I get it.
And they didn't do the job that they should have done. It's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Considering other economic measures to help people that you don't have to go through Congress on, like another delay in filing federal taxes, that sort of thing.
Yeah, things could happen like that. We have to help people. I was watching the Solano owner. She looked so great, so professional, so good. And she was talking about, her children. She has to feed her children. It was great. And we could do things ministerially through executive order or otherwise.
Ministerially? You mean administratively?
It can help a lot of people, as an example. Like delays, we can do delays of various filings. And yeah, I could see that happening, Steve. I think
Thank
like
you, Joe
that
Carter.
Mr. President, people have lived off $1,200. Those checks, a lot of them for a couple months. Should they be expected to live off that same $1,200 for the next couple months, or is more money coming?
Well, something.
Yeah, what I'm telling you, the third quarter is going to be sweet. It's going to be a nice transition. If you've got a lot of loose cash laying around, maybe 50 grand or so, it'd be a good time to throw it in as it starts to ramp up into the fourth quarter, and you could really make some disaster econ. P.S. My face looks like a butthole.
Could happen. There is talk about something happening, and we'll see what's going on. But the greatest
there's talk of something happening, and we'll see what's going on. You're the president of the United States during a pandemic, and someone just asked you about how people will weather this storm with just $1,200 sent once.
That could happen if we can get our country open again and get it going again and have people have these great jobs again. And what we've done is we've been able to have all these thousands and hundreds of thousands of small businesses pay their employees. even though there was no income coming in.
You mean You mean the entirety of the government? You mean the unanimous vote in the Senate and the House, effectively? Really? So you mean your administration?
So
Good
they're
Lord.
ready
Thank
to
you,
rock,
Rebecca.
and they're ready to go. And when Texas
They're ready to rock.
opens and other places, you're already
He should have to go every time he says we're ready to rock.
started the process. The best thing we can do, Peter, is get our country going, get it open.
No, the best thing we can do is stop the disease, track and trace where it is, and figure out therapeutics to treat until a vaccine can appear. Then, all right.
And get it open safely. And we'll put out those little fires or those big fires if we have to, but we have to get our country going.
Okay. Last follow the mask you're talking about.
There are 4 GOP senators who are encouraging you to suspend visas, including for technical and professional workers. Is that something the White House is considering?
Say it again, what?
On visa suspensions?
Visa, yeah.
Cotton and Grassley,
Yeah.
those guys are asking you to suspend
Well, we're talking to them
work
about it.
visas.
They're good senators.
So
We're talking
They're Republicans, so we'll talk to them. They want me to give special visas to friends of theirs who need the business, so.
Some time ago that you would sign a Buy American executive order, whatever.
Well, I've been saying Buy American ever since I announced I was running for office and long before that.
Uh-huh, and so have Democrats. And who has actually stopped that every time?
Oh, we're bringing a lot of companies back. We were doing that long before this happened.
Oh, the fecal transplant for microbiome. Oh my God. It's a fairly effective treatment. I just wouldn't want to be involved in it.
You know, Japan is having big plants built here. We have many Japanese plants coming where they're building their cars in the United States. You have to do it. You have to do it. And they were doing it. We have
Thank you, Stephen.
many companies coming back to the United States. Then this hit. And when this is gone, it'll continue. But maybe it'll continue even more so because we've learned a lot. You know, we've learned more than just about this particular invisible enemy. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot.
What else have you learned? We all learned a valuable lesson. I learned that, you know, it's important. If you can't love yourself, you can't love somebody else. I learned that. I also learned that even if your valet dies, someone will be there to tie your shoe.
About the economics and the importance of making things in our country like we used to. You know, we used to make things here.
Yeah. You mean in the early part of the Industrial Revolution? You mean in World War II?
And then all of a sudden somebody became...
And then all of a sudden, big companies started outsourcing to cheaper labor all over the world. And you're against that now.
A great globalist, some great genius became a globalist. But now he's not such a genius anymore. Maybe he's not even a smart person.
Some great genius became a globalist, and now he's maybe not a genius. He's maybe not even a smart person.
We got to make things in our country. That includes medicine. It includes steel. You know, our steel companies, we had it very good. We made it very difficult for steel dumping, and some of the companies were doing very well.
And where did steel in Trump Tower come from? Is that U.S. steel? What about the Keystone Pipeline? Remember all the the structure around that or whatever? That was all going to be American steel. Where'd that steel come from? And since all right.
Now, of course, we got that waylaid a little bit, but we'll always help our steel companies. But we have to make.
We got that waylaid a little bit, but we'll always help our steel companies.
Our product in this country. And I've been saying that for a long time. Globalists, of course, us a lot of money.
It says a guy wearing a tie from China and an American flag pin made in China.
And a lot of security.
Sir, should valets
What? A lot of security. Just throw security on the tail
wear
end.
masks?
Yeah. Which valets are you talking about?
Well,
valets are all over the place.
I mean, the valet.
Your valet, the guy who got sick, stupid, the person they asked you about in the first place.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Your personal
And they
valet.
are, and they do. They are, and they do.
Oh, they do wear masks?
Yeah.
Your personal valet was
Yeah,
wearing
they
a mask
do.
in your
Yeah.
interaction with them?
They do. They wear masks. Yeah. A
And
lot of people in the White House wear masks. And frankly, a lot of people want to wear
Thank you, Rebecca.
masks until this thing goes away.
Yeah, that's why they wear the mask.
But we have a lot of people in the White House, I see it all the time, where they're wearing masks. And just a little while ago, they were wearing a mask. There's one of them, you were wearing a mask a little while ago.
He's a reporter.
And
that they were wait, he's pointing at something. You were wearing a mask a little while ago. They're not wearing one now when the reporters are in the room and you're having the gaggle, but they were wearing one before because they like to. Oh, thanks so much, Leslie, for becoming a patron. Thanks, guys. That's how the show runs, and that's how we're growing the show, and it's all because of you guys becoming patrons. I greatly appreciate it, and the super chats and all that. We got our, because of the patrons, check this out. This is coming. New camera. It's going to be our streaming camera. Unfortunately, the dummy battery to make it stay on the entire time we're broadcasting doesn't arrive for another week. But thank you, patrons, for making that happen. That's awesome. Patreons assemble. Richard Custer.
Yeah, but I noticed a lot of
Thank you, Eileen.
reporters aren't wearing masks. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Notice the reporters aren't wearing masks. You make them get tested before they can come in. But the staff doesn't, apparently, and the valet wasn't wearing a mask. That was all a lie. That was just a lie.
Your wife and son, thank you, press. Thank you very much, press.
Say it.
Are you going to reach out to General Flynn?
I will, yeah. I think it's, at the appropriate time. I think he's a hero. It's a scam. It was a scam and a hoax. I think he's a hero, the general. Thank you.
Good luck with that.
Your wife and daughter, excuse me, your
Good
wife
shape.
and son are in good shape.
They're in good shape.
They've
Yep.
been tested and they're both.
They're in great shape.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know what he was talking about there. I didn't hear the question. Check this out, though. We won't do much of this because it's too hot to handle. But good Lord, this is the Trump commemorating the National Prayer Day at the White House. Now, full disclosure, I am not religious, but I am not an agnostic or an atheist. I just have my own spiritual path, let's just say. And I do, in fact, pray in my own life. And I'm for it, and I think it has value, even if you're not a believer, in focusing the mind and the heart on people and things that are important in your life. That's all, like, just full disclosure. That said, this is embarrassing because the president doesn't pray. He's not religious. He's using the mask of Christianity. It's absolute garbage hypocrisy. And watch this nonsense. And by the way, Pence is a true believer. Pence is this is his, he's born again. He's an evangelical Christian. This is legit with him. Although I find him to be a hypocrite as well. This part he's not hypocritical about. He's flexing as a Christian about this. So hold on, check this out. Hold on.
And our minds in Christ Jesus.
So he finishes, I think, a prayer, but his eyes are open. That's weird to me.
Prayer is the cord that runs through every era of American history as well. In 1775, the Second Continental Congress established a day of fasting and prayer. In 1863, President Abraham...
By the way, whether you pray or not, I highly recommend studying up on fasting. I'm just going to throw that out there. Totally a secular view on that.
Lincoln urged Americans to pray so that, in his words, the united cry of the nation would be heard on high and answered with a blessing.
Oh, God, this is so dry. But wait, watch. Okay, so Pence gives his little, talk about it, and then he leaves. So Pence leaves. Watch this. So he steps down, and then it's time for the president. Here he comes. This is the president. President is coming. National Day of Prayer. They are praying the president. Here comes the president. Here we go. President, and okay, we'll just put his folder of remarks up there, and somebody will open the door and straighten the flag. Fix that flag before I go out there. And then they shut the door.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and Mrs. Trump.
And by the way, little awkward to have a voice of God on the day of prayer. Holding hands. Watch this. Doesn't even acknowledge him. Drops his hand straight to the mic. This is ice cold. By the way, it's the 2nd anniversary of Be Best. Be best. Be best. It is important to be best. Like calling your opponent sleepy and making fun of women and calling them cows and fat and stupid and weak and calling murderers heroes. All that. Okay. And they give her a round of applause, which, you know, applaud for FLOTUS. Again, she's a birther, so, I mean, her own moral failings are clear and known. And her protestations and the Be Best campaign, she would have violated those pre-presidency because of all of her agreement on the birther thing. So, but watch this.
On this National Day of Prayer, let us take a moment to extend our deepest sympathy to the families of those who have lost their loved ones to COVID-19. Let us pray for the ill.
By the way, good sentiment, good idea, right out of the gate, bring it right up. Why is Trump reading over her shoulder? He does this with everybody.
The ones...
It's really like, bullshit, bullshit, my line, bullshit, bullshit, my line. Like he's just waiting till it's his turn.
Who are suffering.
Oh, I think that was the First Lady's assistant who came up and put the book on the podium.
And those serving on the front lines. When evil darkens our world, give us light. When despair numbs our souls, give us hope. When we stumble and fall, lift us up. When doubts assail us, give us faith. When nothing seems sure, give us trust. When ideals fade, give us vision. When we lose our way, be our guide. That we may find serenity in your presence and purpose in doing your will. Amen.
So that's a prayer. Okay. And so he's just going to have his eyes open the whole time while she's doing it. Did he know what she was going to read? Did they talk about this? Look at him, though. I mean, your turn. Doesn't touch her. No affection. Just.
Thank you very much. Please. Thank you. Be seated, please.
Because now he's a preacher.
Be
seated. Our lesson comes from 2 Corinthians. And lo, they did walk into a bar, because the first one was talking to the second one, and the second one didn't see it.
Thank you very much on the 2nd anniversary of the Be Best initiative. You've done a fantastic job.
Has she? Has she looked at your Twitter feed? Do you really want to mention that on... Do you want to be the dude who wants to talk about it on... All right.
Everybody appreciates it, but I want
to... Do they? Oh, round of applause, by the way.
Thank you.
Good idea. Sort of a launch problem more than a design problem.
And I want to thank you on behalf of the entire...
No, he did not say amen.
...nation for all that you do for America's children and on fighting the drug addiction problem that we have in this country. It's all over the world, but I want to thank you very much. Great job. You do your work so hard.
First of all, why can't you mention your own child? And secondly, the drug addiction problem that's all over the world. Like, why don't you say the opioid crisis? And then the whole, like, it's all over the world as well is just like, well, it's not our fault. This is him. This is now a knee-jerk reaction.
This National Day of Prayer, America is engaged in a fierce battle against a very terrible disease. Throughout our history, in times of challenge,
third our history,
our people have always called upon the gift of faith the blessing of belief,
I underlined faith.
the power of prayer, and the eternal glory of God.
Yeah, that's what you're all about, is the eternal glory of God. Again, if anybody's watching this and thinking that I'm being disrespectful to religion or religious people, you're insane. This guy is a total hypocrite, doesn't believe an ounce of this, has never read the Bible, does not pray, doesn't go to church, and doesn't think he should ask for, should have to ask forgiveness ever. Like, it's embarrassing. Like
I ask all Americans to join their voices.
It's embarrassing.
In their hearts in spiritual union, as we ask our Lord in heaven for strength and solace, for courage and comfort, for hope and healing, for recovery, and for renewal.
Yeah, renewal's the one big word. Oh, we got to open our country. We got to open the pearly gates.
In recent
for
days,
all these people, for all these Americans who are going to die.
In weeks, our country has endured a grave hardship.
We're still in it.
We pray for every family stricken with grief and devastated with a tragic loss. We pray for the doctors, the nurses, and first responders waging war.
Do you really? Do you really?
Against the invisible enemy.
Thank you, Patricia.
We pray for the scientists and researchers, pioneer treatments, that they find therapies and vaccines, and that they find them soon.
Just quickly, because we got to get our country open. We don't want them to be effective. We want them to be quick. Okay? We want them to, we're not praying that they work. We're praying that we have them so we can get on with it.
We pray for the frontline workers keeping our nation fed, nourished, and safe and secure. May God watch over them all. We are honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
He called his wife Carrot. Oh my God. Please tell me you saw that. Hold on. Wait, I'm clipping that. We'll go back. We'll go back. Carrot. Oh my God. That's so great. Good Lord. Ah, that's beautiful. Hang out. Wait. Oh my God. Oh.
That they find therapies and vaccines, and that they find them soon. We pray for the frontline workers keeping our nation fed, nourished, and safe and secure. May God watch over them all. We are honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
It's the only thing he brings his wife to, and you... If she's wearing orange today, I will shit myself. Please, okay, one more time.
Amazing Vice President Mike Pence and his wonderful wife, Karen. Great friends of our nation. And great friends.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, her name is Karen. Oh my God. I can't. Oh my God. Well, it's weird because Pence said in that earlier clip, he was like woeing about it or something. He W'd one of his R's, and then he pulled a full Elmer Fudd, and then all right, one more time. That's it. I promise. I can't. Like, that's
Oh, God.
Safe and secure. May God watch over them all. We are honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen. Great friends of our nation and great friends of mine and Melania's.
And Melon. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, God, that was glorious. Oh. Ah. Oh, that was so great. I can't even begin the joy, the rapture, oh gosh, just carrot time. I'm making a clip. That's so funny. Oh my God. I have to. Oh God. God, that's so. He called her carrot.
And somebody's done an incredible job, not only as vice president, but
as a vegetable, as one of my favorite vegetables. As a matter of fact, I prefer them fresh rather than boiled.
Heading the task force, which has come up with so many solutions and ideas and things that we didn't even think about 2 months ago.
Because you didn't give a shit 2 months ago, you mean?
We're also profoundly.
Oh my God, I'm still dying over carrot. This is definitely getting into
Grateful
a future
to
set.
be joined.
This is showing up in the sexy liberal. It's going to get its own dancing carrot.
Many faith leaders who are helping to care for our neighbors in their hour of need. Thank you all for providing meals to families, medical supplies to hospitals, and for providing spiritual strength and encouragement to your communities. Very important people, very respected people.
Only the best people. I only hang out with well-known, big, important religions, not all this Scientology and Harikiri stuff.
And very much loved people. In every part of our country, we've seen.
I swear to God, the white balance in the rose garden makes his hair white, and that's where we see it. Because it's orange again later on today. Unless they just give it a spritz.
Grace of God through the love and devotion of our fellow citizens. As Scripture assures us, the Lord your God is not your midst, a mighty one who will save.
I'm going to go with that's not an exact quote. Run that by me again. What was the what?
Assures us, the Lord your God is not your midst, a mighty one who will save.
What? What? The Lord your God is not in your midst, a mighty one who will save. I gotta go. I gotta open my copy of 2 Corinthians.
And I think it's so true. Think of that. The Lord your.
I am thinking of it. Oh, he's gonna reread it.
God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save.
Is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. Yeah, I mean, by the way, dig a little deeper. I mean, there were plagues and pestilences in the Bible. Good Lord.
We've been reminded once again that God has blessed
us with a giant catcher's mitt to receive the souls of the carrots
land
among
with
us.
heroes of faith. Here with us is Britney Atkins Olaf from Charlotte, North Carolina.
These are going to be some good names. There's not going to be a Nagida Ganaginaga, but there should be a couple sweet ones.
She is a nurse, a pastor, a wife, a mother. When she saw the dire situation in New York City, she volunteered to work at Samaritan's Purse Field Hospital in Central Park. There she worked 13-hour shifts in the intensive care unit for weeks, praying for each patient while giving them the very best care. As Britney said, we just keep sharing the love of Christ through our gifts of nursing. Britney, America is forever indebted to you and the incredible job you have done, and We very much appreciate it, Brittany. Please come up. Please come up, Brittany, and say a few words.
Oh, they set up, by the way, they set up, I know, his hair's gray outside and it's yellow inside. It's the white balance in this place. I can't, I don't know. The red on the flag looks orangey rather than deeper and closer to blue. So I think it might be the white balance in there, but it's hard to say. Like, if you look at his tie and the thing, it has an orange tint to the red and not a, a bluer tint to the red. That's usually how you can tell. Like, and the blue on his his suit looks a little grayer, so they're downplaying some colors in the, that's all I can figure. By the way, so they have a little side podium.
And I know that I am one of many frontline workers that are.
By the way, good on her. I have no problem with any of the folks who are going up there and saying their words, except maybe Paula White. We'll get to that in a minute. But they give them their own podium. And I think it's largely because if they stand near him, it may trigger the rapture, or he may burst into flames. I'm not quite sure.
Restoration.
I haven't read Revelations in 3 years.
And hope. I am believing for healing in the name of Jesus, and I am believing that unity would thrive during this time. So thank you so much. And God
thanks for being a Patreon, Frank. Thanks so much.
Bless you all.
That's great. Wow. Thank you very much.
That's great. Wow. Thank you very much for saying some Jesus stuff so I can pretend to give a shit.
Brittany, no notes, no nothing. You know your
yeah. It's what happens when people mean it.
Stuff, don't you, huh? Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah, most people can prattle off 6 or 7 Bible verses if they actually are Christians. Might shock you.
Fantastic person. Also with us is Mario Salerno, a landlord, auto shop owner in Brooklyn. Last month, Mario waived rent for all 200 of his tenants. So I got to see you on television, actually. I said,
"That's why we brought you here, so I could pretend it was my idea and make you stand up here and pretend like I."
What kind of a landlord
like
is that? That's a great landlord, right? That's.
I was like, "What a sucker!" And then they're like, "We could use him as a prop," and like, "Oh, bring him."
Very nice. I got to see that. He wanted to make sure that they could put food on the table, and he wanted to take care of their families. Even though he's losing a lot of income, which he could always use, we can always use it, right, Mario? But that was a big thing. Mario says that's irrelevant compared to the value of human life. Fantastic thing, Mario. He also believes he has 2
Who thinks like that? You're a sucker, Mario, but okay.
Callings in his wonderful world, usually wonderful world. We live in a world.
Rest well, Scooby-Doo.
That's very complex. To do good to people and to keep his faith. As Mario puts it.
I underlined the word faith so I could say it. Okay, we're not going to go through all these, by the way. A lot of these people are fine.
Faith.
But we want to see, the big one was, of course, here she is, Paula. After this dude, after the bishop, here she comes. This is the president's own spiritual advisor. Bringing her A game. This is going to be sweet.
What an honor to be here with you, President and First Lady, Vice President, Second Lady. It's a beautiful day to lift up our Lord and Savior. He is a certain God in uncertain times, and the Bible says if 2 or 3 of us agree as touching anything, it will be done. Job.
Ew. What are you touching? If 2 or more are touching anything, that's pretty broad. No wonder Melania is giving you like laser looks right now. Look at this. She's just staring holes in her.
22 verse.
You are not going to take my man until he actually is in jail. Then you can have him.
28 says, if you decree a thing and declare a thing, it will be established. So God, we come in agreement with your word and with your name, the name of Jesus. Psalm 40 verse 17 says, you are my help and my deliverer. Do not delay, O God. I declare no more delays to the deliverance of COVID-19. No more delays to healing and a vaccination. No more delays to restoration of this great nation.
That should do it. That'll do it. I feel much better.
The United States of America. For Psalm 71:2 says, "In your righteousness deliver us and rescue us. Incline your ear and save us." Psalm 107 says, "You deliver us out of distress and out of destruction."
By the way, when I said you could dig a little deeper for those verses, the Psalms are where most of those, oh no, we have a pestilence, can somebody help save us? All those verses, that's where they are. She's his spiritual advisor. She could have given him one, but he liked the word warrior, and he said, give me one with the word mighty warrior in it.
Your word will not return void, according to Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11. So I declare your word.
I declare, Mark 13, verses 7 through 9, no flesh shall be spared. Go forth and kill all, man, woman, and suckling infant. Oh, wrong page.
Declare divine intervention and supernatural turnaround. You will restore this land. According to Psalm 118:25, save our nation, O Lord, and send prosperity now. For Deuteronomy 28:8 says, command your blessing upon this land. You said in Deuteronomy 8:9 to bring us into good
All right, now you're just, it's a gish gallop of verses.
Land without any lack. For your word declares in Psalm 33:2, blessed is
Are they on a TED Talk clock?
Nation whose God is Lord. So I declare you right now to be Lord over this nation, over the United States of America, and we receive your blessing over any.
Did you see him just do that over there? He was like, I declare you don't do that. I'm Lord. Oh, you mean me? When you're saying God, you mean me. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Plague over any economic distress. You will stay the hand of the enemy, according to 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 16.
I think you mean 2 Samuels. They were like, Siamese twins who followed the Lord, and when he did split upon the path, they were unable to go with him.
When 70,000 men died by a plague, David cried out as he covered himself in prayer, and the Lord answered and said, it is enough. Stay now thine hand. Lord, let that be the cry today, and let that be your answer. Lord, enough coronavirus.
Worked 2,000 years ago, might as well work now.
Enough to death, enough to fear, enough to poverty. Stay thine your hand. We pray over President Trump and First Lady, Vice President, and Second Lady, and this administration. I declare Psalm 89, verse 21. Let your hand establish.
I do declare. Oh my God, I do declare.
President Trump, and let your arm strengthen him. I declare Psalm 98:1 that your right hand and your holy arm will give him victory. We declare victory in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 58:11 says, guide him continually. And you said in Psalm 78:7,
it's like you're getting a little long in the tooth. I said everybody stay under a limit of 15 Bible verses.
That you would guide him by the stillfulness of your hand.
My flask in my pocket is starting to smoke.
You declared in Psalm 43 that send out your light and truth and let him lead his household, his administration in the name of Jesus. Now, Lord, we pray for your mercies, for they are new every.
Oh, don't pray for your mercies. You don't want him struck with lightning right there on the spot. That would really throw the markets into a turmoil.
Single day.
By the way, this is not my attack on Christianity. These people are false. They are fake. They are liars and deceivers. If you were a true Christian, you would see them for the demons that they are. Enough said.
And every morning your mercies are new. Your
And so I say, devil, get thee behind me.
Fast love never ceases. I declare new mercies.
It's amazing. How do you bore with the words of God during a pandemic?
For hospital workers. New mercies for doctors and nurses.
Good Lord, woman. Yeah, we'll skip on. She says at one point,
chapter 43, verse 19.
She's like, I'm going to read the whole goddamn thing. I
asked the Lord to do a new thing in our nation by giving waters in the wilderness and streams in the desert. Malachi 4:2 says, Jesus, arise over the nation.
Malachi 4:2. She's going deep reads with this. How many Malachis are there? Thank you, 1524 Scooter.
With healing in your wings. President, one
you are the
like David, who had
you using the whole fist, Doc?
Victory after
beneath
victory.
my wings. All right.
Would face his biggest battle. It was called Ziglag, and they would
Ziglag. I've heard of Ziglag. You can use it. Is it like remdesivir?
His wives and his children, and the city would be burned down. And he cried and he wept, and he began to pray out to God, and God gave him a word.
She's milking this.
Through fasting and praying, I believe this is the word for you and for this nation. The Lord spoke to him and said, pursue and go after them, and you shall without
This is getting uncomfortable.
fail recover all. Sir, the word of the Lord, I believe, for this nation and for this administration is you will recover all.
Yeah, you don't want to say that in front of him because it might entail him ending up in a bad place. By the way, nice slice cut blouse dress thing for National Day of Prayer. Remind me to leave my fly down the next time so that people can get a little neck.
Incredible, Paula. Thank you.
Yeah, it was incredible. Okay, and by the way, he doesn't answer any questions at the end, but I want you guys to see, like, and by the way, I have no problem. They have, like, some people come out, they sing a gospel song. It's totally fine. It's, they sing, like, God Bless America. And then he goes, there's bugs all over the place, and they're standing there, not touching, not holding hands, no. And these people are lovely. They sing very well. It's lovely. And then he goes, let me see if he goes, wait, here it is. Check this out.
Well, thank you very much. That was great. Thank you. You know,
not today, Will. We'll set that up for another time. I'll talk to you about it afterwards and why. It's going to have to be paced, otherwise, oh, God.
while you're up here, so this is totally unexpected, but you're so good. Do you have one song that you'd like to sing for the group and for the whole world that's watching right now? You have a lot of cameras out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, this isn't planned at all.
We'll put a little pressure on you. You can handle it. Go ahead.
Yeah, they plan it. Oh, God, this is... And by the way, they're lovely. Again, I have no problem with the singers whatsoever. They're...
Mine eyes to the hills, knowing my head
stiff as a board.
is come.
By the way, like I said, these people are lovely. I have no doubt that they believe what they say, and they're lovely singers. I'm going to skip over because I'm not going to even be like remotely tempted to make any jokes during it, if best I can. But watch when this finishes. Watch them leave. Not them. Trump and Melania. He goes like this, which is like rocking. Like,
That's fantastic. A lot of people were watching. Thank you. Great talent. Beautiful. Thank you all very much. Great day of prayer. Thank you very much. Mike?
nope. Look at that. Tries for it. Denied. Reaches for her hand. Not getting us nothing. A fist pump. Nothing says day of prayer like a fist pump. Thanks, Carrot. We'll see you later. She's like, don't touch me. And then he put, like... What do you think? She's going to run into a tree? Like... And then the dude's, like, shutting the door. He lets the camera... Watch his face. This is gonna be ugly. Like, as soon as he closes the door, you're like, this goes south so fast. Doesn't Carrot look lovely today? Her hair's got kind of an orangey hue to it. Honest to God, is she redheaded and that's where he went to Carrot? Like, that's how he remembered her name? Are we going there? Thank you. It was such a lovely thing until the president spoke. It was so lovely between the moments where he spoke. please get, can we get bad lip reading to do this? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is all social distancing religious ceremony. Who's yelling? Is there a street preacher screaming at them? Yeah, I can't tell what they're saying, but it sounds like somebody, like a protester. It's amazing how the vice president can just go out there and hang out with religious people and talk with them normally. And Trump can't go out there because he doesn't know one single Bible verse. And if they ask him, he'll get stumped and get angry. The fake religion, those are fake, false prophets, fake prophets. Yes. You gonna come and salvage him? I found, oh God, I'll add this to an upcoming broadcast. It's too much today. We're almost done. It's 6 o'clock. Time for Mad Out, and I'll let you guys go. But I found a site that has all this B-roll of Trump from campaign events and stuff. It's super weird. All right, I'm gonna...
When everything lifts, we'll get up.
Where are we? Doubling up, good times. So thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for gathering around. I'm sorry we weren't on the other sites today, but I don't trust Restream right now. And we got through this with no glitches. So I stand by the fact that I think this is, oh my God.
My Catholic mother gave me a rosary first of the year. So my Catholic mother would be very excited.
Mother's going to be upset. Pence is talking to nuns.
He came out and gave me a rosary. I haven't seen her since.
I was given rosaries by someone, and I haven't seen her since. We don't know what happened to her, you know, with COVID and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you, Norman Fox. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the super chats and the support today. Thank you to our new two Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/AlSparks is how you support the show. I appreciate it. If you can, please help out. If you can't, I completely understand, and I will be here every day anyways in spite of that. Please share the YouTube link, the infotainmentwars.com, so we can bring everybody here, because if I can work out a way to, you know, be able to run on other formats at the same time and I can trust it, I will. But until then, I think it's better to just have a smooth show and do that. So I appreciate you guys. And oh my God, the carrot clip will be up in just a few moments. Good Lord. Think about joining the Discord. If you're in the Patreon, there's a special Discord. We're getting that one tricked out for everybody there as well, which has voice chat and all kinds of other stuff with me. And we can have little gatherings and gaggles. And then, of course, the upper echelon Patreon supporters get in the creative circle. And I'm planning Monday this week coming up. We're going to have an hour-long gathering in the creative circle in there about, like, as we start to phase out of this and as the world changes around us and as the threat continues, what it means to be creative during that time and how to maintain your creativity during that, because I think that's a really valuable part of it. So anyway, I will see you guys later. Enjoy Rachel. I'm going to rush down and watch her as well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of somebody else. I adore you. Thanks, Can't Stop Lying. Thanks to Moto. And thanks to Carl and Julie, if she's in there with us. She kind of comes and goes sometimes, for being our moderators and taking care of everybody. And feel free to get in the Discord if that's in your wheelhouse. If it isn't, we'll just see you tomorrow. Have a great night and take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, okay? It's really important. Be good to yourself.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Just the facts, ma'am.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
All right.
Stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun.
I never thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
And I'm going to have brand new clips very soon. All right, this is me signing off. I'll see you guys. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe, stay happy. Send some love to somebody.